So I think a lot of people don't realize that the Phoenix Mercury have if they signed DeWanna Bonner to the minimum, which they might have, they have a salary slot. They have the same, almost same salary. Actually, not Fever the most money, but they have a salary slot to sign Emma Messeman. They have a salary slot to sign Emma Messeman, who is the perfect player, in fact, to play with.
The Phoenix Mercury have made significant roster adjustments that suggest major acquisition plans, potentially positioning themselves as frontrunners to sign international star Emma Messeman. Recent roster management decisions indicate the organization is preparing for a high-profile addition that could dramatically reshape their championship prospects. Phoenix recently released Kiana Williams, creating both salary cap flexibility and an available roster position. This decision surprised many observers, as Williams had been performing well in her backup point guard role, averaging 5 points per game and delivering notable performances, including a 17-point effort against Dallas. Her recent 16-minute contribution in a victory over Minnesota demonstrated her value as a reliable rotation player.
Perfect player, in fact, to play with Alyssa Thomas, who is the perfect player to play on Monica Cohen-Magani, who has she played with DeWanna Bonner? Has DeWanna Bonner ever played with Emma Messeman? I don't think Alyssa Thomas has played with her. So Bonner has played for Prague. She's played for... No, she hasn't. I don't think she has. No, she hasn't played with Emma Messeman at any stage. But the Mercury are the most seamless fit here.
Williams had recently given interviews expressing confidence about her roster security, making her release particularly unexpected. The timing of the decision proved significant, as her contract would have become fully guaranteed after the weekend deadline. By releasing her before that date, Phoenix avoided additional salary obligations while creating space for new signings. The strategic nature of this move becomes apparent when considering Phoenix's current roster construction. The team maintained only 13 players, with Williams serving as their primary backup point guard. No injured guards are expected to return, making her release purely about creating opportunities for external additions rather than addressing internal roster needs.
But the Mercury are the most seamless fit here. And they just got rid of a player who'd been pretty good for them. Like, Kiana Williams was kind of killing it. She was kind of killing it. Like, she averaged 5 points a game. And she had 17 points against the Wings 2 games ago. And she was okay she played 16 minutes against the Minnesota Timberwolves, or Minnesota Lynx. So, in a win. Which means the only reason...
Desert Wave Media confirmed that the organization cut Williams specifically to generate both salary cap space and roster availability ahead of crucial deadlines. This deliberate timing suggests coordinated planning for a significant acquisition rather than routine roster maintenance. MEESSEMAN represents the most logical target for such maneuvering. The Belgian center would provide an ideal fit alongside existing Mercury stars, particularly complementing the playing styles of current roster members. Her combination of size, skill, and basketball intelligence would address several organizational needs simultaneously.
The only reason that they got rid of her is if they have someone better coming in, because no point guard is coming back from injury. By the way, there's no point guard for the Phoenix Mercury that's coming back from injury. They didn't have to. They own 13 players. Like, she is their backup point guard. So you're now in a situation where
the potential signing becomes more attractive when considering team chemistry factors. While some current Mercury players lack previous experience playing alongside MEESSEMAN, her professional background and adaptability suggest smooth integration into existing systems. Her European experience and WNBA familiarity eliminate typical adjustment periods associated with international signings. Phoenix's competitive positioning makes them particularly appealing to veteran players seeking championship opportunities. The organization's recent moves suggest serious championship ambitions, which aligns perfectly with MEESSEMAN's documented preference for winning situations over other considerations like market size or media attention.
The Mercury have to be doing something big because she's been really good. Like, if they're going to get rid of Kiana Williams when everyone thought they had their 12 set, like, Emma Meesseman is like, she is the only player that I'm looking at is a clear upgrade. Maybe they could be looking at like Badian or Ayayi. Maybe they could be looking at maybe bringing over. If I was them, I would look to bring over Mariana Ortiz.
Alternative targets for the newly created roster spot could include other international players such as Mariana Ortiz or various available domestic options. However, the caliber of player they released suggests they're targeting someone of significantly higher quality than typical mid-season additions. The competitive implications of such a signing extend beyond Phoenix alone. Successfully landing MEESSEMAN would create a substantial talent gap between championship contenders and the remaining field. This concentration of elite talent could effectively reduce meaningful competition to just 3 or 4 legitimate title contenders.
Mariana Ortiz. She's probably the player that I would look to bring in if I was the Mercury, if you're not getting Emma. It could be any of them, to be honest. It could be any of them. But, like, her contract would have been fully guaranteed on Sunday. So they had to cut her today. Because one, it saves them a bit of salary. And two, by cutting her, it means they had to cut her by then because they have to bring someone in. And they're bringing somebody in. They are bringing somebody in. They cut her to open a...
The timing coincides with other league developments that affect competitive balance. Several organizations appear to be in rebuilding phases, while others lack the resources or attractiveness to compete for premium free agents. This dynamic potentially creates a scenario where elite talent clusters with already successful franchises. Indiana's recent struggles may have damaged their position in pursuit of high-profile additions. Their inconsistent play and apparent organizational issues could make them less attractive to veterans seeking stable winning environments. The contrast with Phoenix's apparent organizational focus becomes stark in such comparisons.
Bringing somebody in. They are bringing somebody in. They cut her to open a roster spot. And you see here from Desert Wave Media, they cut her to open up cap space and a roster spot. They cut her ahead of the deadline. So, basically, they're bringing in somebody else. And the only player that I think is like a sure thing is Kiana Williams, who's been killing it, is Emma Meesseman. Like, there is a good chance, there is a legitimate chance. Like, I said the Mercury were the favorites in the Emma Meesseman sweepstakes.
The Duana Bonner situation adds another layer to Phoenix's appeal. Her successful integration demonstrates the organization's ability to manage veteran additions effectively. Her previous experience with organizational transitions could provide valuable mentorship for any new high-profile signings. Speculation about Bonner's departure from Indiana suggests potential organizational issues that extend beyond normal roster turnover. Reports indicate possible miscommunication or unfulfilled promises that led to her requesting a trade. Such situations often influence other players' perceptions of organizational reliability. Phoenix's geographical and cultural appeal provides additional advantages in recruitment. The market offers professional opportunities without excessive media pressure, allowing players to focus on basketball performance rather than external distractions. This environment particularly appeals to international players seeking smooth transitions to American professional basketball.
There is a legitimate chance. Like, I said the Mercury were the favorites in the Emma Meesseman sweepstakes. I thought they were the favorites purely because of fit. And at the end of the day, like, it's the fit is even better now because she is a trophy hunter. Like, people don't know. Like, people think about Emma Meesseman as like, oh, she's going to go to the Indiana Fever.
The salary cap implications of their recent moves suggest careful financial planning designed to maximize roster flexibility. By managing contracts strategically, Phoenix has positioned themselves to offer competitive packages while maintaining long-term financial sustainability. The potential domino effects of landing Meesseman could extend throughout the league. Other organizations might respond with their own aggressive moves, or alternatively, they might pivot toward longer-term rebuilding strategies if immediate championship competition becomes unrealistic.
On the bench, I would have taken Tiffany Mitchell. We don't need... Tiffany Mitchell would have been a perfect player to bring in. Again, I don't think Tiffany Mitchell's great. But she's way better. She's way better than Bree Turner because she does something. She does something. Like, Liz Kitley's at least a young player who is 6'6", and sometimes when we're getting beaten for height, you could put Liz Kitley in and she's a decent shot blocker.
From a competitive standpoint, adding MEESSEMAN would create matchup advantages that few opposing teams could counter effectively. Her versatility allows for multiple lineup configurations, providing coaching staff with strategic flexibility during crucial playoff situations. The broader league implications involve questions about competitive balance and fan engagement across different markets. Concentration of talent in select organizations can create excitement for those franchises while potentially diminishing interest in others. Phoenix's aggressive approach signals their commitment to maximizing their current championship window. With established stars already in place, adding another elite performer could represent the difference between playoff participation and legitimate title contention.
You could put Liz Kitley in and she's a decent shot blocker. At least Liz Kitley has some size. But no, we're going to keep Bree Turner. Mariam Badian. Kiara Linskins. Valu Ayayi. They are players that, yes, are they going to change anything for the Fever? Probably not. But they're better than her. She doesn't do anything. If you watch her in a layup line, she looks like a person. Like, I've coached kids.
The decision-making timeline suggests negotiations may already be advanced, with roster moves preceding official announcements. Such coordination typically indicates strong mutual interest between organizations and target players. Should Phoenix successfully complete this acquisition, it would represent one of the most significant mid-season additions in recent league history. The combination of talent level and strategic fit could establish them as immediate championship favorites for the remainder of the current season and beyond. The Indiana Fever's approach to roster construction raises significant questions about organizational priorities and strategic planning. Their current personnel decisions suggest a disconnect between competitive goals and practical implementation.
Looks like a person. Like, I've coached kids that have never played the sport of basketball before. And, like, you're teaching them the right, left, ups of layups. She literally goes and looks like one of those when she's taking layups. Like, the last basket she scored was one of the craziest baskets I've seen. Like, she had a wide open layup, nowhere near, and released it from, like...
The retention of underperforming players while quality alternatives become available demonstrates concerning management philosophy. Several teams across the league have made decisive roster moves, releasing multiple players within short time frames to improve their competitive positioning. Organizations like Phoenix Mercury have shown willingness to make difficult decisions, releasing 3 players in recent weeks. Even traditionally conservative franchises have demonstrated more aggressive roster management than Indiana's current approach. Meanwhile, productive players like Tiffany Mitchell have become available through waivers, representing opportunities for teams seeking bench depth and shot creation. Mitchell's skill set as a guard who can create offense would address specific roster needs, yet the Fever have shown no interest in such acquisition.
Like, her hip, just a scoop, and nearly missed a short, an open layup. Like, she can't play back. She seems like a lovely person. Honestly, she seems like a lovely person. But at the end of the day, Brianna Turner is a bad basketball player. She is a bad basketball player. And you can't have a team with 10 players.
The organization continues to employ players who contribute minimal value to competitive success, maintaining roster spots for individuals who cannot execute basic basketball fundamentals represents poor resource allocation, particularly when the team operates with limited depth. Current bench players demonstrate fundamental skill deficiencies that become apparent during practice sessions and limited game appearances. Observing these players attempt routine basketball activities reveals concerning gaps in basic technique and basketball understanding. The organization's decision-making becomes more problematic when considering their precarious playoff positioning. The team currently holds playoff positioning only through tiebreaker advantages, meaning they share identical records with teams outside the postseason picture.
10 players. With 11 players and one of them just being bad at the sport. Because you're one injury away from suddenly getting 9. And I understand, obviously, it's one of those situations where everyone's going to be like, oh, it's fine. It's fine. We can, we can go out with 9 players. Cool, in the playoffs you can, not in the regular season. And by the way, we need to...
This competitive reality should motivate aggressive roster improvement rather than passive maintenance of ineffective personnel. The margin for error remains minimal, requiring every roster spot to contribute meaningful value toward playoff qualification and success. Alternative player acquisition strategies exist within current market conditions. International leagues contain available talent that could provide immediate impact in areas where the current roster lacks competency. Players with superior athleticism, motor, and fundamental skills remain accessible through various channels. The organization had previous opportunities to address these deficiencies through strategic acquisitions. Quality players like Letitia Amenhire were available before the season began, offering size, athleticism, and versatility across multiple positions. The decision to pass on such opportunities while retaining inferior alternatives demonstrates questionable evaluation processes.
And by the way, we need to make the playoffs first. We are not in the playoffs because of a tiebreaker. We hold the tiebreaker over 2 other teams. We have the same record as being out of the playoffs. We need to make the playoffs. And the team needs some sort of athleticism from somewhere. Find it from somewhere. Look at every single league overseas. At this stage, just draft Kennedy effing Carter at this stage. At this stage...
Additional qualified candidates like Marion Badian represent ongoing opportunities for roster enhancement. These players possess legitimate basketball skills and could provide immediate upgrades over current bench options. The team's apparent reluctance to make necessary changes suggests organizational priorities that don't align with competitive excellence. Maintaining roster harmony appears to take precedence over basketball effectiveness, even when current chemistry hasn't translated to consistent effort or performance. Current roster construction lacks the competitive intensity and athleticism necessary for playoff basketball. The team requires players who approach the game with urgency and physical commitment, qualities notably absent from several current roster members.
At this stage, you have Kennedy, Carter. Just take Kennedy Carter. I don't care. I don't care if she destroys the locker room. The locker room, they just give up on games. I don't care if after every single game there's a punch up in the locker room, as long as they go out and play hard when they're on the floor. Because whatever the hell it is, it seems like they get on with each other. The team plays with no aggression.
International scouting could provide solutions for these deficiencies. European leagues contain players with the motor and competitive drive that would complement the team's existing talent. Finding players who approach basketball as intense competitors rather than passive participants should represent a priority. The organization's conservative approach becomes more concerning when considering potential free agency implications. The apparent desire to maintain relationships with veteran players may influence future personnel decisions, potentially prioritizing age and familiarity over performance and fit.
It seems like they get on with each other. The team plays with no aggression, no energy, no motor. They need to find someone to play like an Angel Reese in Europe. They need a dog. They need an absolute dog. And you need to find them from somewhere. I didn't really watch enough of Eurobasket. I was on courtside in 1988 and I was having to watch those games after the fact. But you've got to go and find dogs. You have got to find dogs. And if you don't find dogs, then I don't know what's the point of just...
This philosophy could extend to major roster decisions involving star players. The reluctance to make difficult choices about starting lineups and playing time allocation suggests that competitive considerations may yield to interpersonal dynamics. Future acquisition opportunities like MEESSEMAN represent tests of organizational priorities. Quality players of this caliber could necessitate difficult lineup decisions, including potential role changes for established veterans. The organization's willingness to make such adjustments will indicate their commitment to competitive excellence.